muckers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having an amazing night. Okay, I'm in a great mood, so it's a great start to the video. Also, I'm hoping that you like this video because we can do endless amounts of this style of video. So basically, it's an unpopular opinion style video. However, it's more niche than that because we're doing unpopular opinions about YouTube, YouTube drama, the people we talk about, YouTube situations that have happened, things within the community, and I was reading through some of y'all's opinions and some of them are spicy. Some of them are more bland than others, not to drag y'all. I was like, is that your unpopular opinion? No offense. Love y'all. But let me know what your ones are below, and they will be included in a future video, whether you like this style of video or not. So, with that being said, I have asked on Instagram stories and my YouTube community for unpopular opinions. So for this one, because there were so many on each individual one, my Instagram story alone got a couple hundred, so I want to devote time to like each individual section. So I'm starting with the YouTube family because y'all are the OGs. So I basically just put a simple post up that said the following. I said, okay, give me your YouTube drama unpopular opinions. Make them good and I'll read them out in a video. So let's just read them. So what I'm going to be doing, if you feel like I'm ignoring yours or it was too controversial that I'm not reading it out or I don't agree with it so I'm not reading it out, that is not what I'm doing. I'm going to be reading these in the order of what they're appearing, which means the top interacted comments. So whichever the top ones are, kind of like Reddit whenever it's like upvoted. So these are the ones that got the most attention. Therefore, I'm going to be reading them today because it seemed to already start a conversation and hopefully we can continue that conversation below as well as you giving other ones. Okay. So first of all, we have Britney's ASMR, who actually did an ASMR video dedicated to me, and I fucking love you, said, I don't want Jenna Marbles to come back. She seemed miserable, and I would rather her be happy. I completely agree with this. I was so sad whenever Jenna left the internet. But in theory, when you look back, Jenna kind of got out at a good time. Jenna had a lot of problematic-esque content like her peers. And Jenna saw the way that the YouTube was going in terms of creators getting backlash, not addressing it or not addressing it properly, and then that lingering throughout their career. And Jenna seems to be a YouTuber, or a person at least, that really takes on board criticism and really takes on board whenever they've affected someone. And I am completely biased in this. I love Jenna Marbles so much. And I completely think that Jenna Marbles was sincere whenever she said that the content that she had posted, she knew that it made people upset and she's really upset by that. And so because of that, she doesn't want to put anything else out there until she reevaluates it. And obviously over time, we've realized that Jenna probably isn't coming back. But I agree. I think Jenna Marbles' content for the decade, you know, that it was on was so phenomenal. And I even think the later content was so great. But it's definitely clear looking back on it now that the content became less and less about Jenna, more so just focusing on the dogs, and it was less comedy, more so just like talking videos. And you know what? She's been doing it a long time and she's made great viral videos and just great wholesome videos. And I completely agree with that one, I do have to say. So someone said, it is much easier to be cancelled and remain famous than it is to be famous to begin with. I 100% agree. I think someone being cancelled just provides them so much attention. And it's just how said person who's being cancelled chooses to do with that cancellation. We have someone like Shane who goes away. Or we have someone like Nikita Dragon who basks in the bath of cancellation and uses that to her advantage, Tana Mojo being the same and James Charles being the same. SR said, unpopular opinion, the Dolan twins, that is a name I haven't heard in a while, leaving social media was the right decision because you could tell it was taking a toll on their mental health and well-being. I also don't think they'll be coming back or posting anytime soon. I also don't think so. They're very young and they've made their money and they don't really need to come back to YouTube if it's not a passion anymore, that it clearly wasn't. And nearing the end, they were getting very shady with their content. They were clickbaiting a lot to do with Sister Squad, to do with James Charles, to do with Emma Chamberlain. And I don't know if you remember. If you do, please sound off below. They did a series and they did a trailer and they did a big lead up that was about Ethan's acne journey. And the way they promoted it and the time frame during it was whenever James was getting exposed, again, one of the times, and people were asking if anything had happened between James Charles and Grayson Dolan, and a lot of people thought that this was going to be a story about that, and it was never denied by the Dolan twins. It was kind of fed in more and more. Even if you are a fan of the Dolan twins, you can admit that. And they were just nearing the end. They were getting involved in a lot of drama, which is something they never really did before. We were making Dolan twin drama videos, like something I never thought was ever gonna happen. Someone said, I miss old school videos when people weren't famous or making money off of YouTube and always trying to rebrand themselves. I get that this is a job for people now, and all that power to everyone and everyone making a go for it. But yeah, it's really hard to find real people on the platform, and I completely agree with you. My peak time on YouTube was, first of all, I still think it was like 2015, 2016 with all of the YouTubers that I loved, you know, who were making daily content at that time, and one of the main ones being Jenna Marbles. And I think I was starting to learn that it was a job for them and that it was making them millions of dollars back then. But still, it just seemed a lot more wholesome. And I think as time has gone on in YouTube, around the 2017 mark was whenever there was a huge influx of creators who were the money culture, the flex culture. And I think once that took over, it was just a distasteful YouTube community. But for me, my golden age of YouTube is Bethany Moda and Alicia Marie, 2013 back to school videos, what's in my bag videos, what I'm taking on an airplane videos, Zoella, the British vloggers, 2015, they were the ones I was talking about. I just think that was the golden age. However, around that time as well was whenever Zoella, who's a very famous British YouTuber, was releasing a book, one of the first, and then that was a huge scandal, one of the first really big YouTube scandals because it was exposed for being a ghostwriter and she didn't even write it. So I think it was definitely not like a secret anymore that YouTubers were making a lot of money and becoming mainstream celebrities, and I definitely think that does lose the appeal, especially for me, for a lot of people that I can no longer identify with, and I know that's the point that you're making in this, so I agree with you. So someone said, the executives at YouTube low-key like controversy because it keeps people interested in the platform. They will continue to promote problematic creators because it benefits them financially and legitimizes YouTube as mainstream entertainment regardless of who it hurts. Every compelling story needs its villains, and YouTube have found their own. I think this is a really interesting one, and I completely agree with you. I think that YouTube have this system where they see that a drama is happening, they see that a controversy is happening, and they let the community deal with it, for better or for for worse. Eventually, sometimes they step in whenever there was things with like PewDiePie, or I'm trying to remember Logan Paul, that they've stepped in and released statements or demonetized channel, like Shane, like James. But for the most part, I do think that the theory of, you know, someone does something, there's drama, they go away, there's drama, they come back, they're fine, there's drama. I think this is a rotation that not only keeps YouTubers creating content for a very long time, but keeps people coming back and interested in these people and interested in these situations, and I definitely agree with you. I wonder if that's an unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. Maybe just a fact, Moses is actually a very good photographer. He invented a technique to photograph water, and it's an analogy, sorry, it's big words for me, it's late, it's analogy technique, and not even digital. What makes me hate him even more was because I thought it was pretty cool. Because he's autistic and so am I don't make people worship me like him and Elon Musk and so on and forth. Kind of making a jab at Moses, saying that he's like a god and above everyone else. Hey, someone can be a bad person, or you can think someone's a bad person, or someone can do bad things, and they can still be very talented. They can still, you know what I mean? I don't think that takes away anything from that. I really haven't looked into Moses' art, just because there's been so many other things to do with Moses that I've been trying to keep up to date with. However, I know that a lot of people really appreciate his work, and I think you can do that while still disagreeing with a person's morals or things that they do. Someone said, mukbangs, the ones where they eat copious amounts of food, shouldn't be on YouTube and promote binge eating disorders. I think that there needs to be a conversation around mukbangs on YouTube, and in theory of saying that though, it's not really the best statement to put out there, because you have people at either extremes, and whenever you're calling for that content to not be created anymore, not only are you taking away their livelihood, but you're kind of discriminating against them for eating and what different people believe to be different portion sizes and putting out there, and what responsibility the creators have and what responsibility do YouTube have. I used to think that this was a very easy conversation. However, the more I think about it personally, the more I think that it's more deep than just YouTube shouldn't allow this creator on the platform because they're eating too much, or YouTube shouldn't allow this creator on because they're promoting not eating. I think it is a very deeper conversation because a lot of people say stuff about Nikado Avocado. He needs to be demonetized because he's promoting, you know, all these copious amounts of food. And then people are like, hey, that's not right. And then those same people are like Eugenia Cooney, who's on the other side. It's a very complex situation that I 100% think we should dive into one day, and I want to know your opinion of it. However, I do think it's a lot more than just saying that it shouldn't be allowed, because I think that whenever you try to silence a community, try to silence a particular style of content creators for what they are, maybe what they can't control, is going into territory that we really shouldn't be in. So that's where I'm at with that. Someone said cancel culture is a joke because no one ever gets cancelled forever. I completely agree with you. I don't think cancel culture exists. I think accountability culture exists. I don't think cancel culture exists. And cancel culture has been twisted from accountability culture, from mainstream media trying to turn against different political parties, and I think it's so much deeper than just YouTube, but that's my opinion on that. Someone said, I feel guilty, but I still watch Shane and Ryland. However, after other cancellations, I don't watch David or James anymore. It doesn't make sense. Again, you can enjoy whatever content you want to enjoy. Someone said, in my opinion, you have to make genuine apologies for your behavior and make amends with the people you've hurt in order to show grow. I don't know why I didn't finish that sentence. Not just run away and move on to the next thing while pretending it never happened. Cough, cough, Gabbie Hanna. I completely agree. I think it's hard for a YouTuber who's in the moment of getting cancelled to make an apology video, say what they're gonna do, and then show it because it's happening so fast. I think we can all kind of agree that. However, you kind of look at their past behavior, what they were doing before this, whenever they were cancelled, and moving forward, and I think at the end of the day, it is just allowing those things to happen. You are aware of them, and maybe like a couple weeks after, a couple days after, a couple months after, you can look at a creator maybe you didn't like and be like, hey, I particularly think that there's growth here. I particularly think that this person has taken on board the criticism or changed, or maybe they haven't, and you can choose if you want to support them moving forward. I think that's an incredibly healthy situation and opinion to take on this, but I want to know your opinion. Okay. Someone said, unpopular opinion is that not everyone should have a platform. People like Trisha are so toxic for everyone's mental health, not just their own. Same with Gabbie Hanna. YouTube should step in when things are becoming too toxic. I do believe everyone has a right to make money, but there has to be a line in the sand for good. Even Eugenia and Nikado Avocado should be censored at some points. Maybe make these things a different YouTuber section, like a trigger warning on all videos, something to stop the toxic poison content. Maybe even make their content 18+ so that young people cannot, you know, be exposed to it, so that it's detrimental for their mental health. I disagree with you on the basis of we really shouldn't be silencing anyone, regardless of how much we disagree with them, because again, I think that's very complex, and I used to be very night and day about it, and now I'm like, oh shit, there's so much more to this. And about putting trigger warnings on videos and putting 18+, different people can perceive different content as being triggering, toxic, and I think that there would be an argument about whether you're going to put it on these style of videos. Oh, you should also put it on da-da-da-da-da. You put it on that, you should put it da-da-da-da-da. And then it completely changes the platform, which it never was intended for. I think I've probably put that opinion out there before. However, the more again I look into it, the more I realize that it's not as easy as just saying that it shouldn't be allowed. However, thank you so much for responding. Someone said, I don't know if this is necessarily unpopular, but it makes me a little sad seeing people say the whole beauty community being labeled as dramatic all around because a few of them are dramatic. Despite the many people who aren't. It's not an original opinion, but you know. No, thank you so much, and I completely agree with what you're saying. I definitely think that there have been standout characters who were at the top who caused drama, like Jeffree, like James, that have definitely tarnished the reputation of the beauty field, which is very, very, very disheartening, because it is these white male creators that are tarnishing the reputation of an industry in YouTube that mainly black women created. Do we want to have that conversation? Alright, we'll have that conversation. Someone said Shane Dawson shouldn't be allowed to continue succeeding online after cultivating prejudice and discrimination in his young, impressionable audience while also objectifying and doing other things. He shouldn't be able to lie to himself and there should be consequences. Okay, again, I used to have the opinion that was like, demonetize them all, like get them all off. Again, the more I look into it, the more complex it is, so I am going to say that I disagree with you. However, the content that was put on there, I do think, I'm agreeing with you, I think that there should be more repercussions for long term for these creators. Maybe that is, you know, longer than just YouTube demonetizing for a month whenever the press is bad. I don't think taking away anyone's platform, and again, I used to have a completely different opinion on that, and if you agree with me, please respect that. But I think that there should be more repercussions about people who have instilled a certain content style on the platform that maybe wasn't there before and helped normalize certain behaviors within youth and different prejudice within youth. I think that there should be more repercussions, but again, it's you're treading a line with that. So I would love to hear your take on that below. So let me know below. Someone said, there's a lot here. I'm just trying to go through them. Someone said, we will never have a wholesome drama. We will never watch a YouTuber in a fight with another YouTuber who can donate more money to good causes. We will never see them fight by complimenting each other. Everyone with an enormous platform is too gross. Interesting. Someone said, Shane's comeback was so bland. Half of it was other people's videos and the new cameraman was trying to be a part of everything. Almost how Gara and Drew used to be. Love you, Adam. Thank you so much. I love you too. I think, all bias aside, I think the cameraman probably had an unrealistic set of standards going into this. People loved Andrew, people loved Drew, people loved the laughing, people loved the engagement with Shane, and he was probably trying to replicate that. And again, it did come across, in my opinion, a bit too much. However, people are enjoying it, and what you're saying that his comeback was bland, again, I'm seeing a lot of people being like, Shane shouldn't have been allowed to come back. I do believe that anyone is allowed to, you know, create content on this platform because I feel like there should be a bigger issue that or a bigger conversation that happens before we start demonetizing people. Again, complex, the word of the video. However, I do think that it's pretty fair to say that his comeback was quite bland. From the array of things that he could have done, it's a bit lackluster. Someone said Ethan was also problematic in Frenemies. And someone said, yes, he definitely dragged out the drama. Like in the newest Off the Rails, he talked about how much Trisha is spending in videos. Why is that his business and who cares? Then another person said, because this one's starting a conversation, so let me hear what you have to say about it below. He didn't respect Trisha. Ethan has no sense of boundaries. That was obvious with the Bella Porch interview. It's no wonder they both exploded on each other, and yes, Trisha is hella problematic. I need to burp, sorry. It's just incorrect to say that they are the only one responsible and not Ethan. Here's my thing. I think Trisha and Ethan were having toxic conversations, and I think both of them were toxic in them. I think the explosive fights, I think it was more so on Trisha, and I can genuinely put my hand up and say that I believe that. However, I'm sure if we were to go through Frenemies specifically, the same way people are critically looking at Trisha, I'm sure you would find many bad clips of what Ethan was saying. And I think the reason for that was because both of them were in such a comfortable environment with being so open and off-camera conversations that maybe, you know, you and your friends are having, you know, maybe distasteful comments that aren't really offensive but are just in bad taste. And I think there's a lot of those moments in Frenemies, and I think because they were talking about weight a lot and talking about religion, I think there were definitely moments that went too far from both of them, and yeah, that applies to Ethan as well. So I would say that that is definitely an interesting one. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down a bit to see if I can just get like a whole different section of them, so maybe if yours wasn't at the top, I'll still see it. Someone said, I don't know how unpopular of opinion this is, but I see Trisha's behavior as a constant cry for help rather than just evil, manipulative attention seeking. I think she might actually believe everything she says, even when it's a clear contradiction or false information. Obviously, she still needs to work on this problem herself alongside a therapist, and her mental health is not an excuse for anything she's done, but I don't know if anything is intentionally, you know, just done anymore. I half agree with you. I think that Trisha Paytas definitely does a lot of things to provoke a reaction, therefore getting money. But I definitely think that this is someone who struggles with their mental health. And I guess you can interpret that as a cry for help. I think there have been moments where you could say that whenever, like, everyone was coming for Trisha at the start of, you know, whenever Frenemies was really falling apart. I think you could really see there that that was a desperate Trisha. I mean, the screaming on camera one. More so than maybe attention seeking, maybe just panic. I think that you're onto something there. I really do think so. Someone said influencers are the new celebrities. I completely agree with you. As much as I've tried to not acknowledge this and think it's so cringy, we are now seeing Nikki Tutorials, Emma Chamberlain, the Try Guy, all these new people are infiltrating into the Met Gala, into the fashion industry. Charlie Dixie D'Amelio really showing the new wave of influencers and how much money influencers get paid for things. And I really do think, and the reason is for that, celebrities become more distant the more famous they get, whereas influencers get more connected with their audience the bigger they get. Therefore, someone is more easily able to access Tana Mojo, because she's always posting on social media, than they are Jennifer Aniston. Therefore, someone will probably lean towards someone that they can, you know, hear from all the time or get daily updates from, because we're curious people. I think that's definitely what happens. Someone said Jeffree Star is more problematic than Shane overall. I completely agree. I think they're both really problematic, but I think Jeffree dates back to so many horrible moments from the early 2000s in person, because he was in the MySpace era and coming up in the MySpace era, and I think he definitely fed into stereotypes of people like him at that age to try get more attention, and for better or for worse, he did awful things because of that to provoke reactions. And I think they both have their backlog, but I definitely agree that Jeffree's is a lot more intense. Someone said, I don't mind if David Dobrik is trying to come back to YouTube as long as he's learned his mistakes. And I think that can apply to anyone. And make sure he doesn't repeat them. Again, while saying that with David, he is still doing, like, intense, like, pranks and intense, you know, stunts with his friends and vlogs, which, again, is his content, so he can't really, you know, change it like that. But, again, that was the thing that got him in trouble in the first place. I like to believe he is a genuine person, but had lost his intentions in the fame. Everyone deserves a second chance, and he, you know, can sort his content out. I completely agree with you. Someone said, not sure if this is an unpopular opinion, but I hate when YouTubers talk about their view count, specifically when they say, so my video didn't get this many views, or this was my least viewed video. It's obnoxious to me. I completely agree. I honestly feel like if a YouTuber was saying that about a video, if you took a second to be like, oh, my video underperformed, look at how many people watched it and realize that that's individual people choosing to watch your video. If it's a less number than before, suck it up. Look how many people it still is. I completely agree with you, and that's a big red flag for me when watching a YouTuber, because you're like, oh shit, I know that most YouTubers are watching their analytics, but to like point it out to like the viewer who's trying to enjoy it and, you know, zone out, nah. Someone said, I can't stand Hassan. He makes H3 unwatchable. I was seeing a lot of opinions from people saying that they just don't like Hassan or don't like his, you know, hitting off with Ethan, and it's making them not want to watch the new podcast. I was seeing a lot of that one. I'll not say if I agree or not. Someone said Trisha will never be cancelled to the point she's driving off the internet. She'll never leave YouTube, even for a year or so like Shane did. Plus, she's too entertaining. I think the thing with Trisha is, even if you really dislike Trisha in the moment, Trisha will always come up with something really stupid that gets people talking. For instance, Trisha is a crystal person now, like spiritual manifestation, recharging my crystals. And it's so fascinating for a lot of people because it's like, where did this come from? And I think Trisha is someone who is so sporadic, who is able to come up with ideas and new personalities on the spot, which will always keep people interested because it is like a reality show in a way, especially whenever Trisha is engaging in dramas. Again, it's been a second since Trisha has properly been in a drama because Trisha says that she's learned her lesson and doesn't want to be in it. We'll see how long that holds up. But we'll take what it goes. Someone said, unpopular opinion is that rappers and... Okay, this is not a YouTube one, but we'll read it out. Unpopular opinion, rappers and music in general that think it's okay to refer to women as bitches or their girlfriend as a bitch is disrespectful to women. That was not a YouTube one, but I started reading it out, so you can let me know if you agree with it below. Okay, I'm gonna scroll to the bottom and get some of the ones that maybe wouldn't have been seen. Someone said, I think Trisha is just misunderstood. Okay, here this goes. I actually really enjoyed Shane's comeback. It was entertaining and I laughed quite a bit at his jokes. Yes, I understand what he did was horrible, but at the same time, those Shanae videos came out. I did laugh at them and thought they were funny as well. Even to this day, I find myself rewatching his old videos. Someone said, sometimes opinions are unpopular for a reason. You know what? If you enjoy said content, then you enjoy said content. It's not for anyone to take it away from you. Someone said, it's not an unpopular opinion, but I need to state it. Family channels need to not exist. I agree, and I think that there are laws about child work and child labor and how long children can work, if they can even work, and teenagers, how long they can work. And children are working when they're on a family channel, and there aren't rules protecting them yet, financially and also just morally. I think eventually we're going to see laws and restrictions come in that are going to, you know, show how much work a child can really be involved in a family channel, if they can be shown in, maybe protection laws. I do think this is eventually going to come, but I don't think it's going to come until one of the child stars from these family channels gets to about 18 and maybe sues their family. It's not the most bizarre theory in the entire world. It is not the most bizarre theory that one of these children is going to grow up and sue their family. And then I think they might get all this money, but also a law might be put in place that's so desperately needed. Right? I really want to know your opinion of family channels. I really They really disgust me. They really disgust me. Alright, someone said, it's a really dangerous precedent to set that people think they're entitled to the medical information of Eugenia Cooney. No one but her doctors and herself are entitled to updates on her condition and treatment unless she's given a guardian or put in a conservatorship. And even then, it wouldn't be the public's business. Even licensed therapists legally can't diagnose or treat anyone who isn't their patient. People with visible mental illness are entitled to just as much privacy as the ones who are recovering. Let me know what you think about that as well. Someone said, an unpopular opinion, Gabbie Hanna is a very good musician and can write excellent lyrics. Okay, here's my thing. I don't think Gabbie Hanna can write excellent lyrics. I think that Gabbie can write pop songs. I think that Gabbie can hold a tune. I think that her production team can be good. I think she can get good instrumentals, which therefore can create like good pop songs. Nothing more than good pop songs, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that in like, let's have our standards be realistic here. Makes excellent music. I mean, it's an interesting unpopular opinion. I will do. Someone said, I love Ethan, but I think he's instigating Trisha drama again to bring in more views. Well, again, people are obviously going to click if they think there's more drama with Trisha. I think that's a business tactic. It's just kind of how you feel about Ethan doing that whenever Trisha gets called out for doing the same thing. However, in recent times, aside from Ethan just talking about Trisha's music video, Ethan has been responding to Trisha talking about Ethan, even if it was a while ago. So I do think it is him staying consistent here. I do think that Trisha put it out for so long that he is able to respond, regardless of how long ago Trisha did it. You know what I mean? Because there was a time when Trisha was doing it like that. So Ethan is able to respond. Okay? He is able to respond. Someone said, we need to stop clinging on to these old, problematic YouTubers who have muddled their platforms with negativity. We act as if Shane is the only person who can make conspiracy videos and James Charles is a one-of-a-kind makeup genius. As if they're the only talented available people on the internet. It's time to let some fresh faces turn their, turn in the spotlight. Let's lift up newcomers and stop dilly-dallying with the old ones that continue to let us down. I agree with you in terms of I would love to see an influx of new creators on YouTube. I think that all has to do, though, with the algorithm and how much YouTube favors their old-style content creators, which is interesting because they're all, in their 30s, 40s now, which is nothing against their age, but is like, realistically, YouTubers normally retire in their early 40s, late 30s at this stage. So it's kind of like, what happens when they retire and we haven't been exposed to many other younger, upcoming YouTubers? Nothing really. I guess TikTok is really doing that. I would like to see YouTube doing it a lot more. Okay, someone said, I don't know if this is unpopular, but it's interesting to me why James Charles is still on the platform after he confirmed what he did in that video. I'll end it with this. Now, what I'll say is that video was definitely very interesting, and I think it was deleted for a reason by James Charles, because I think he definitely gave something away whenever he confirmed that 2 of the messagings happened with the boys. It's still blows my mind that he posted it, blows my mind even more that he deleted it. Again, it begs the conversation about demonetization, deplatforming, but I definitely think that Snapchat should have at least for a little bit, released a statement on what they were going to do with James Charles' Snapchat account because it was directly coming from his Snapchat, and James was on TikTok saying that he was using his TikTok For You page like a dating page. So do with that what you will. Okay, what did we think about this? This was so fun going through and I was giving little comments on it. Please leave your unpopular opinions below in terms of all of these. I would love to hear them, and if you like this video, I will do another one, and I need to go through my Instagram ones too. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was a longer one, so if you've watched to the end, please comment, please comment, Gabbie slay, because someone said that, or no, Gabbie Hanna makes excellent music. To give a little shout out to the Gabbie Hanna fan that commented. I love you. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah!